So you want to get some massive biceps, you click the right video. In this video, we're gonna go over a no BS guide on how to get some huge biceps. We're gonna go over the anatomy of the bicep, how to hit the bicep in 3 different positions, a shortened, mid-range, and a lengthened position, different exercises you wanna incorporate, a rep range, and then also how to structure this into your program. So we'll start off with the anatomy of the bicep. So when we look at the bicep, it's right over here on the body, right? Over here at the top, we have our origin point. It kind of comes into your front delt and the insertions here. So what does this mean in simplest terms? You want to think about bringing these 2 points together. How are we going to do that? You're going to do that by bending your elbow and doing a curl. Very, very simple, but this is important to know when we're talking about how we're going to hit the bicep in 3 different positions, right? So to start off with, if you want to hit the bicep in a more shortened position, you want to think about biasing these 2 points and bringing them closer together. So how are you going to do that? If I put my arm behind me, this is going to actually stretch out the bicep more. So I want to hit it in more of a shortened position. So I'm going to think about having my elbow in front of me and doing a curl like this. So what movements am I going to have when my elbow's in front of me, right? This is going to be a movement like a preacher curl. So preacher curl is going to be the first one, right? You could have a preacher curl machine. So boom, just like that. You could do a single arm dumbbell curl. So we're on a preacher curl bench. That works as well, right? That's a very solid movement I like having in my program. And then also a kind of unusual exercise that you could have is a high cable curl. So where you're on a cable tower and you're actually doing a curl standing like this. That hits the bicep in a shortened position as well. So we'll put high cable curl. Okay, so these exercises are all going to hit the bicep in a shortened position. So a shortened position is when the elbow is in front of you. Okay, so this is important because we want to have a lot of variety in our training and we want to hit the bicep or literally any other muscle in all different types of angles, right? So these exercises are going to hit the bicep in a more shortened position. When we move on to a mid-range, right? A mid-range is going to be when your bicep is or your elbow is to your side, right? So what movements do we do like this, right? This could be a cable curl. So that could be one movement. So we have a cable curl, right? We have a dumbbell curl, very, very simple, our traditional dumbbell curl where you just kind of go like this, right? Or you could have a machine curl as well. So a machine curl where you're sitting down and your elbows are to your side. So there's a lot of different machines you could have where you're sitting down, you load the pin, and you're just kind of curling to your side. This is gonna hit the bicep in a more mid-range, right? Because the elbow is by your side. So all of this is gonna come down to your elbow position, right? How do we hit the bicep in a more lengthened position? So this is gonna be, like I mentioned before, when your elbow's behind you, right? So this can be an incline dumbbell curl. So incline dumbbell curl to start off with. And then also this could be an incline cable curl. Incline cable curl. Incline cable curl, or literally any other exercise that's behind you. There are sometimes machines out there as well where you're kind of laying back, so we'll put a machine curl as well, right? So a machine curl where you're a little bit more upright, standing like this is gonna hit the bicep more mid-range. A machine curl where your hips are a little bit forward, the seat's a little bit back, and your elbows are behind you. This is gonna hit the bicep in a more lengthened position. So you always wanna make sure that you're hitting every muscle in these 3 different types of positions and different angles, right? That way you could stimulate the most amount of growth. How do you wanna sequence this? How do you wanna sequence this in your workout program? What exercises do you wanna do first? What exercises do you wanna do last? So typically, what I like to do is I like to start off with exercises that hit the shortened position, right? So first, we're gonna hit the shortened position. So a shortened position first. Then second, what I like to do is I like to go on to a lengthened position. So the shortened position is gonna be really good because it's gonna give you an insane pump, right? This is where the contraction is gonna be the best, right? And the lengthened position, what it's gonna do once you have that pump, it's gonna really stretch out the muscle and really stretch out the fascia. So allowing more blood flow to come in there. So then you have a lengthened position, right? And then the third position is gonna be the mid-range. The reason I like to leave the mid-range till the end is that's when you're typically the strongest, right? You're always gonna be able to dumbbell curl more like this, more weight like doing this, rather than a high cable curl, right? So that's why I like having the mid-range last. So how would I structure this in a workout program? So very, very simple. Shortened position, what I would start off with is I typically start off with a preacher curl. So I'd start off with a preacher curl. Let's say you're doing 3 exercises, right? So a preacher curl, boom, to start off with. That's gonna be, you know, number 1, 1A, and then 1B, right? We wanna hit it in a more lengthened position. I'll move on to an incline dumbbell curl. So incline dumbbell curl, boom. Also guys, I know my handwriting is absolutely horrible, but there's a lot of value. If you guys are getting value from this, make sure you click that thumbs up button. So incline dumbbell curl, that's gonna be the second exercise. And 1C, I'm gonna go on to a mid-range, right? So I'm gonna do a dumbbell curl to my side. I would do a hammer curl. So a hammer curl. And this is literally what I have in my workout program. If you guys watch my arm day, right? Hammer curl. Very, very simple. So shorten, lengthen, and mid-range. And if I was to add a fourth exercise, if you guys do want to add a fourth bicep exercise in like an arm day or anything, I would typically just add another mid-range exercise. So what I would do is I would add 1D, I would add like a cable curl. So we could add a cable curl. Boom, done. And that's literally how you're gonna structure your arm day. In terms of sets and reps, that's gonna depend on your overall recovery and how much fatigue you have on a day-to-day basis. A good rule of thumb, anywhere from 2 to 3 sets in the 6 to 15 rep range. Anything less than 6 reps is gonna be way too heavy, and anything over 15 reps, in my opinion, is just way too light. So that's what I typically like to do. If you guys don't have an arm day and you have more of like a pull day in your workout and you have a training split where you're doing push, pull, legs, what I would do is just do the shortened position and you can do the lengthened position. And you wanna do this after your pull day, right? So after you're done training your back, then you wanna make sure you hit your biceps. But all in all, there you go. That's literally everything you need to know in terms of how to get some huge biceps, how to hit the muscle in 3 different positions, what exercises you wanna do, some examples, how you wanna structure the sequence or how to have the exercise order, and then also an example of what a workout program could be. So very simple. Hope this brought you guys some value. If it did, click the thumbs up button. All you have to do is just do this with a very good diet, very good recovery. Do this for a decade and you'll get some huge biceps. Hope this helps.